Hello and welcome to Balanced Existence. Today I'm going to do our tarot and oracle reading for our 7 facets of life. So this is a reading I like to do once a month and take the time frame as it resonates. I'm recording this in April 2026, but whenever you come across it, I trust there will be some valuable insights for you. And the purpose of this reading is really to just reflect on these different areas of your life. I'll pull some cards to give an energy update as well as any guidance. And it's for you to take this time to zoom out and think about where in your life and what in your life you would like to seek changes or improvements or just general reflections on. So I encourage you to get comfortable, maybe have a nice drink or a snack. You can even bring out your journal and take notes on things that resonate. And let's go into it. So as a refresher, the first facet is spirituality and self-development. The second facet is health and wellness. The third facet is free time. The fourth facet is home and environment. The fifth facet is love life. The sixth facet is social life. And the seventh facet is career and finances. Okay, so starting off with the first facet of spirituality and self-development, I always say this is the most important facet because it's really what is the foundation for everything we do. And this includes everything from your core values, your belief system, all of the things that you do to work on yourself, to improve, to grow, to learn, to transform, as well as spiritual rituals like meditation and prayer and your connection with your angels and spirit guides, your intuition, the signs and synchronicities that you receive in life and how you allow that to guide you, as well as even your ability to practice creativity, especially as it relates to your connection with source. So of course there will be overlap between the facets, but this is focused especially on your spirituality. Okay, so I want to actually start. I have 2 oracle decks as well as the tarot. So I'm going to start with the oracle, and we have Catch Your Breath, which immediately, I'm getting chills. And last month we had a lot of chaotic energy and eclipse season. And even in April right now, we're entering Aries season and a stellium going through Aries. So this is just I'm almost like laughing at this card because it's reminding us to slow down. And, sometimes you'll go through periods of really high energy and movement. And as a result of that, sometimes you just need moments to catch your breath and pause. So this is just a reminder to the collective of wherever you're at in your journey to make sure you're allowing yourself a chance to breathe so that we're not burning out in our journey, especially for this collective that is so committed to their growth and transformation, and it can very much lead to burnout at times. For the tarot cards, we're getting the Devil, the Strength, and the Eight of Pentacles, which is such a perfect message to accompany this. So the Devil is, of course, talking about all of those subconscious limiting beliefs, those toxic patterns or karmic cycles that we are constantly seeking to overcome or break those patterns. The Strength is here showing you exactly what you've been doing, is taming the beast in a gentle way and in a loving way. And the Eight of Pentacles being committed to mastering your craft, especially as it relates to your spirituality, your craft of spirituality. So as you're doing this profound healing work, the message is, of course, to acknowledge just how much you're doing and how successful and what a master of your craft you are becoming, and also to give yourself permission to pause or slow down or catch your breath. And the last oracle card we have is Dreamer. So it's your reminder to continue to dream big, to continue to pursue these passions, pursue the growth that you seek. And I love this dreamer card because there's such a gentle energy to it, which goes hand in hand with the catch your breath card. As we're doing so much of this, at times, heavy shadow work with the devil, the strength, we stay committed to our craft with the Eight of Pentacles, and all the while we want to do so with a gentle energy about us. So the dreamer card says, your dreams have chosen you. Find fulfillment in pursuing your destiny. This is the magic of life. So yeah, it's such a great reminder to think about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and remember through that reflection that this is what brings you fulfillment. This is what brings magic into your life. So when you think of it this way, even through the heavy shadow work, it's such a blessing, and it's such a lighthearted, beautiful, high vibrational energy that we're going through on the spirituality journey, even in those times of those heavier energies that we have to work through, or those go chaotic periods. Okay, let's move on to the second facet. And as always, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Anything that might resonate, or any breakthroughs you might have, or any intentions or commitments you decide on as a result of this reading. So, okay, facet number 2 is health and wellness. So this includes things like your overall routines, which of course make up your lifestyle. It's a huge foundation of your health, but we're not just talking about physical health like your sleep, your nutrition, your fitness, but we're also talking about, of course, our mental health. So your overall well-being. And don't get me wrong, sleep, nutrition, and fitness are the top 3 things to really prioritize as it comes to your physical health. But there's also some mental well-being aspects that are included in this facet as well. So we have the card, Let Love Be Your Beacon. So this is very much bringing a message of self-love, especially, as it relates to nutrition and fitness and even mental health. There can be slippery slopes at times where we're overly disciplined, or, maybe you're dieting in an excessively strict way, or you're exercising, but it can result in different types of body dysmorphia, things like this, right? So the message here is to make sure that love and self-love is the foundation to all of these routines that you do. And especially on the topic of routines, sometimes we can just be going through the motions, feeling like we have to do this, we have to do that. And while we do know that the basics of getting good sleep, eating healthy, moving our body, and taking care of our mind and our mental health and our emotional health, we know that those are the basics. That's just objective fact. But at the same time, when we look at our routines, when we look at what does our morning routine look like, what does our afternoon or lunchtime routine look like, what does our evening and night routine look like, it could be a good chance or opportunity for you right now to reflect on those routines and think, what am I doing out of love? What am I doing out of this kind of forced obligation? And really practice that discernment, which is actually the other oracle card we got, which I'll get to in a second. So with the tarot cards for this facet, we have the King of Swords and the Ace of Wands, which I love this energy because we've got this divine masculine air sign, which of course, the swords being air and the wands being fire. These are both the masculine elements. And then combined, of course, with the Ace of Wands being this new idea, this new creative burst, this new spark of passion. I'm really loving the Ace of Wands energy as it relates to you, like I said, reflecting on your routines, reflecting on the different practices that you do and what can be improved and not just improved, but, what can be done in a light of more love. And then with the King of Swords being that divine masculine that takes the lead, takes a rational approach, and is able to look at things with the ultimate truth and really exercise that intellectual power of, what is best for you. And combined with this let love be your beacon card, which is that very gentle self-love, more divine feminine energy, I'm loving the union of how these two cards are working together, or how these three cards are working together. So really practicing that balance of how can I love myself more, but how can I also make sure I'm formulating the best, most optimal routines, with that purpose of love, and also in a way that's going to, serve my highest timeline of my health in the most practical way. And so the last two oracle cards, actually two popped out for this one, and it was Quest and Discernment. So I think it's so fitting of the Quest card being about taking action and having kind of this bold and brave approach, and discernment being about using your common sense, paying attention, also trusting your intuition and being able to see the truth of your situation or of your routines, of your lifestyle, right? So with the Quest and the Discernment card together, it's like you're embarking on this new journey of, you may actually be being called to completely revamp your routines. That might mean you need to change the things that you're doing, or, stop doing certain things. It may mean that you need to add in certain practices. And of course, with love being your beacon here, we're doing so in a way that isn't overly strict or overly disciplined to a point where you'll burn out. I mean, it does take time to get into routines, to form habits that make up your routines and that make up your lifestyle. So to do so in a gentle, loving way, but to also do so with that divine masculine energy that's empowered and motivated and is practicing discernment at all times on this quest, on this journey of really getting to your optimal physical health and mental health. Okay, let's move on to the third facet of free time. We have seek beauty. And so as a refresher, the free time facet is about all of the things you do in your free time, the things you do for fun, the hobbies you do, recreational activities. This could also include things like travel or different adventures that you go on, even locally. And so the Seek Beauty card is reminding us to, and in connection with the second facet of revamping our routines, there's also this idea of revamping how you spend your free time. And the Seek Beauty card is reminding us to do so in a way that leads us to experiences and situations and scenarios where we are able to see the beauty of life. And through that process, finding and feeling more joy in life. It's like the more you do the things that you love that are actually aligned with how you want to spend your free time and what is fun for you and what brings you joy, the more you live a life of joy, it's like the next thing you know, you're in love with life and you're constantly feeling joy because you've done the work and you've practiced the discernment to spend your time in a way that is going to get you there. So we have the Hangman Tarot card coming out, which immediately is making me feel into this idea of seeing things in a new way, right? Like having a shift in perspective, looking at how you currently spend your free time. Maybe you're not giving yourself free time, or maybe it's minimal, or maybe there's some kind of creative strategy that you need to work this into your lifestyle in a way that is going to make it a habit and that is going to be sustainable. So really embrace this Hangman energy card and try to see things from a new light. Or maybe there's some hobbies that you're doing that you've kind of maybe lost the passion, you've lost the spark, but you just feel obligated to keep doing them because you've always done them. Take this as it resonates, but basically you're being asked to shift perspective as to what is your heart really calling you to do, and where can you find more beauty through your hobbies and through even just this process of reflecting. We also have the Five of Pentacles. So in combination, the Hangman and Five of Pentacles, I'm picking up on this energy for a part of the collective that may feel like they don't have enough time, or they don't have enough resources, or maybe they don't have a companion to do certain activities with. And so it's kind of that limiting scarcity mindset. And so the hangman is here to remind yourself to pivot that, right? Seek the beauty, seek the joy in both the process and in the actual activities that you do. And I'm hearing flow state. So move towards that flow state, whatever puts you in a flow state. It could just be going for a walk. Like maybe that's how you want to spend your free time. And of course that doubles as the second facet of moving your body. And, like there's so much overlap that you can find throughout these facets, and whatever gets you in a flowing energy, that's where you'll be able to recognize the beauty of life, because you'll actually slow down enough. You'll slow your mind and your racing thoughts down enough to actually see the beauty in life. So maybe this is painting for you. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it could be anything. It could be baking or cooking. So we also have the Temperance card. So this beautiful balanced energy of, I'm also hearing like work hard, play hard. So, for those who work really hard, maybe you work long hours, the time and the effort and the energy that you spend doing that should be counterbalanced with this beautiful free time and the energy and the joy that comes from those experiences. And so the last oracle card we have is Integrity. It says, drop the things that offend your soul, which is so fitting because this is about really having, again, in overlap with the second facet, this discernment of what do I want to spend my time doing? It says, embrace your truth. It's your life. Let no one live it for you. So yeah, again, this kind of countering the Five of Pentacles energy that says, well, I don't know, I don't have anyone to do this with, or I don't know if I'm even good at this hobby. All of those limiting beliefs, drop them, and in true integrity and alignment with your soul, make decisions that are going to be in alignment with your path, and you'll know you're in alignment when you're recognizing just how beautiful this process is. Okay, moving on to the fourth facet, we have home and environment. So this includes where you live. It could include even the city you live. Maybe you're trying to move cities or states or countries. It could also just be moving homes, or it could be not moving, but just how you feed or nurture kind of your home environment, which could be things from your pets to how you organize your space, maybe the overall environment of like if you're around nature or if it's like a more bustling city, all kinds of things like this. So the oracle card we have is maintain your childlike spirit. So, okay, so firstly, a pretty specific message I'm getting is some of the collective may be visiting home. And by home, I mean it could be where your parents live or where you grew up or where the majority of your family is from or lives currently. And it's a reminder that this is a beautiful opportunity to reflect on how you've changed. It's kind of like when you go back to your hometown and the last time you were there, you were a child or you were in high school or something like that, right? When you go back and you drive through or walk through those same streets and you go back to your parents' house and you look at your old bedroom, these kinds of experiences, it can be such a powerful reflective period. And I'm getting chills channeling into this because you're experiencing this like nostalgic memory energetically, but at the same time, you're a completely different version of yourself. You've jumped multiple timelines and, to kind of go back to not necessarily an old timeline, but an old environment that you were in on an older timeline is sometimes can be a very valuable reflective experience. So that's just kind of a specific experience that some of this collective may be going through. But regardless, there's an overarching theme here of remembering what it was like when you were a child. What did you like to do? What was in your home and environment that brought you joy and that fed your childlike spirit? Did you like to play outside? Did you like to play board games with your siblings? Whatever it is, it could be such a wide variety of things, but what is it that brought you joy? And this could also overlap with the free time facet. As you're trying to seek beauty and seek those hobbies and activities that are going to get you in touch with the beauty of life and the beauty of source energy, maybe a great way to do that is to ask yourself, what did you enjoy doing as a child? Like, what fed your soul as a child? Because a lot of those activities that you liked are a gateway to a stronger connection to your soul. So as we are navigating the home and environment facet, especially I'm picking up on this kind of interaction with the free time facet, maybe there are certain things about your home and environment right now that could be better set up for you to partake in certain hobbies. For example, maybe when you were a kid, you played an instrument, but you haven't played it in a while. And so you're realizing like you would like to take back up that hobby. And so that's kind of like a free time thing. Well, maybe that means in your home environment, you need to designate a space where you can have this instrument, and you can have an area where you have it all set up and you can just take a seat and, practice your instrument or whatever this may be, right? So, or maybe you wrote a lot as a child, or you wrote stories or poetry, or you drew, like you did any kind of painting or drawing. Maybe you now need to look at your home environment and clear off your desk, or, have a place where you can put your supplies so you can easily kind of sit down and partake in those activities. So yeah, I'm just very intuitively picking up on this connection between the free time facet and the home and environment facet. And I'm also picking up on the advice that is given when you're trying to build habits where you want to reduce the amount of resistance, right? So let's say you want to paint more, but your brain will kind of subconsciously think, oh, if I'm going to sit down and paint right now, I have to get out all the supplies, I have to do this, I have to do that. And that resistance can hinder us in trying to achieve our goals. I mean, this is the same thing for like people who want to work out more, but I have to put my workout clothes on, I have to get my tennis shoes out, I have to drive to the gym, and so if you lay out your clothes and you just put a set of dumbbells in your living room, then you can easily do a little workout while you're watching TV, and then you've like reduced the amount of resistance to get you to complete that habit. So these are just random examples, of course, but the home and environment facet is the area and the opportunity for you to, reduce that resistance towards the things that you want to spend more time doing. How is your house actually set up? And is it working in a way that is going to help you achieve the most optimal lifestyle for your health, your wellness, and your free time activities? Okay, and so for the tarot for this, we have 5 of Cups and Page of Pentacles. Yeah, so you may feel kind of this disappointment, maybe this feeling like you don't have the setup you want. I mean, the 5 of Cups is the traditional image of the 3 cups that have spilled and the 2 upright cups behind this person. So you may feel, well, I don't have room for a desk to paint, or I don't have room to set up an instrument, or I don't have money to do this. But the 5 of Cups is calling your attention to, focus on the positive and not on what is lost or what you don't have. And so any small improvement or modification to your home and environment can still have such a powerful impact. And actually, a great example of this is lighting a candle, or even lighting incense, or turning on your oil diffuser. Like, it seems like such a minor thing that wouldn't really make a difference, but if you've done it before, you know that when you do it, it completely transforms the energy of the home, and it's such a worthwhile small action to take. So the Five of Cups energy is pointing us towards, what are the little things that you can do? And I'm getting chills channeling into this. And that leads us into the Page of Pentacles, which of course is that humble seed that we're planting. And I love that the Pentacles card is coming through because that's of course the earth element, and that talks about our home and our structures in especially in like the material way, like the actual house, right? And the page, of course, being the child, and our oracle card is to maintain your childlike spirit. So this is very fitting. So allow these little seeds that we're planting, or these little actions that we're taking, to be enough. Allow that to be something that really transforms our energy and gets us clear on and closer to understanding our ideal home environment. The last oracle card we have here is confidence. So yeah, feeling into that fire in your soul and standing tall. And I'm getting that as you are navigating your home environment, to take kind of this empowered ownership of it. And even if you share a house, or you have roommates, or you have a family, and it's not like you live alone and have 100% full control as to, how you change around your house. I'm picking up on, for that collective, to really embody this confidence moving forward of like, this is your life. And this is very similar to the integrity card we got for the third facet. This is your life, right? Like if you need something that's going to help you and that's going to help fulfill your path, and that, isn't harming anyone else, then you should have full confidence to pursue that, because your needs are not a burden. Your wishes for how your ideal home would be are not a burden. It's simply the steps that you're going through on your soul's path. And so we want to honor that with confidence. Okay, let's move on to the fifth facet of love life. So the oracle card we have is Fresh Approach. So this is a beautiful card of course, taking a new perspective, taking an alternate path that maybe we hadn't gone down. And for the collective that is on the twin flame journey, and I'm getting huge chills channeling into this, I'm getting that the fresh approach that you're taking is ego degradation. So whether you're in union with this twin or not, whether you're dating someone or single, how you think about the scenario, or, if you are in contact or dating somebody, how you interact with them, you are taking a fresh approach in the sense of not allowing your ego to take the reins or to kind of drive how you show up. So for example, maybe there's been somebody that you're on and off with, or maybe this is a new person that you're interacting with, and you may have certain habits that are on autopilot, run by your ego, where you have these beliefs of, oh, that person didn't text me because, it's malicious, or it's because I'm not worthy, or, kind of these, even at times, subconscious spirals that we don't even recognize we're doing. And our ego will kind of create these stories and build resentment, and even in the most subtle ways that you may not always be aware of. And so the fresh approach is not about this person acting different, but it's about, and it's not just about you skipping to the part where you show up different. It's deeper than that. It's about recognizing the thought patterns as they come, and then kind of talking yourself down from it. Like, wait, that's just an egoic story. I don't need to follow that thought spiral. And so having that fresh approach, which of course it takes time to build habits, to change habits, especially to remove a bad habit that is very deeply ingrained and maybe even not even fully conscious. Like when you partake in that bad habit, you're not always consciously made aware that you're doing so. And so it can take time to, one, recognize it, and then two, to muster the energy to change it. Because, when we have certain neural pathways that are formed and those grooves are so ingrained, it does take a good amount of energy for our brain to kind of stop that momentum and change it. But it's very possible. I mean, this is kind of going into neuroplasticity and being able to kind of change how you respond to your thoughts. But that's kind of the initial message coming through. So with the tarot cards, we actually had 5 cards pop out, and I'm just going to go with it. So the first card is 4 of Swords. So a message to, take rest, take space, take a break as you need. And I'm getting chills channeling into this. And maybe that in itself is a fresh approach for you. Maybe in the past you were like kind of going all the time, or maybe you were taking a lot of action. I'm also hearing like problem solving or constantly leading the problem solving. And maybe the fresh approach for you is to just take time to rest and focus your energy back on yourself and back inward. We also have the 6 of Wands. So it's kind of like that success and that recognition after you've given yourself time to rest and committed to taking a fresh approach. It's like you're going to be recognized for it. People will notice that your energy is different. People will notice when you're more rested, and people will notice when you're approaching things in a new and improved way. And especially as it relates to the ego degradation, people will feel that. And that can be extremely helpful and really life-changing for your romantic relationships when you're able to show up in such a peaceful and centered way, because you're not allowing your ego to kind of overtake your energy. We also have the Emperor, so picking up on that divine masculine energy. And we have the Chariot and the 3 of Swords. So I'm picking up on this energy of like when you're undergoing any kind of heartbreak or betrayal, whether this is like a full-on breakup or just those minor conflicts and fights and disagreements and betrayals that may come up in relationships as you're getting to learn each other and as you're, working together to resolve conflict and things like this. The Chariot is here to balance, right? Like not being pulled by our ego, but not being walked all over either. And so there's this like beautiful balance of our boundaries and our commitment to make a romantic union successful and healthy and built on a foundation of love. And the Chariot is all about willpower and knowing that you will succeed. So yeah, as we're taking this fresh approach, it's like you're doing so with this like beautiful, confident energy of like, I can do this. Like, and there may be times I still accidentally go down the old approach, or I accidentally am taken by my ego, but that's okay. I go back to the 4 of Swords energy. Again, that this 3 of Swords, like it's okay to go through a period of heartbreak, to go through a period of disappointment and sadness, but you'll always come back to that beautiful Emperor, divine masculine energy, and you'll always come back to that motivated and inspired and empowered Chariot energy. And that's what's going to lead you to that 6 of Wands success, where it's not about always being perfect or like having this magical fresh approach that's going to make you never have conflict again. It's about understanding the ebb and flow. I mean, this is the duality of the Chariot card, where you're being pulled in 2 different ways, right? And this is the duality of like the Emperor and the 6 of Wands versus the 3 and the 4 of Swords, which can be more sad or tired energies, right? So it's all about balancing the duality of, this is natural, of the ebb and flow of life. And of course, take things as they resonate. I mean, if things are unhealthy, then practice discernment. If your relationship requires more understanding, then practice love and compassion, right? Like, you know how to kind of navigate intuitively if you tap into that. But the Chariot is here to keep us motivated and inspired and full of that confidence and willpower to navigate the dualities of romantic relationships in a way that it's like you just know that you will do this successfully. And maybe that confidence in and of itself is the fresh approach for you. And I'm getting chills channeling into this. Maybe in the past, your old approach was, I don't know if I can make this work, or I don't know if I'm meant to be with this person, or I don't know if I'm destined for this magical, beautiful love. The Chariot is here to say, you know what? I am deserving, and I do have the skills and at least the resources to learn those skills to balance the ebb and flows of relationships and all of the conflict resolution that comes with it, and all of the heartbreak that comes with it, and all of the ebb and flows of energy that comes with it. You know, the times where we need to take action, the times that we need to rest. You know, like, I can do this, and I have the skills, and I'm deserving of this path. So beautiful energy coming through with this one. The last oracle cards, 2 popped out. We have action and metamorphosis. So the action card is so in line with the Chariot. It says, stop hesitating. Movement creates the magic. Nothing can hold you back. And the action card has a horse on it, as well as, of course, the Chariot, which is, you know, the traditional image of being pulled by the 2 horses. So the horse imagery could, of course, be significant for you. Also, the 6 of Wands, they also are on a horse. So, and we are in the year of the fire horse. So this could be significant for your love life and your romance life. Just the overall overarching energy of the fire horse for this year. But the action card is about continuing to take that movement. You know, and it's interesting because we also have the metamorphosis card, which has a butterfly on it, and it says, trust the process and be patient. Becoming cannot be rushed. Change is beautiful. And I love that we're getting both of these cards because it's representing the duality, because the metamorphosis is, of course, the butterfly, and, you know, the caterpillar has to be patient when they're in the cocoon and trust the process. And this is very much in line with that 4 of Swords energy of knowing when to rest and knowing when to pause, and knowing that at certain parts of your journey, especially in your romantic relationships, you simply cannot rush the process, and that things will change and evolve in the most natural way. And so sometimes it's time to just sit back and rest, and sometimes that's your fresh approach. Other times it's good to take action and to keep that momentum of that Chariot energy, the momentum of knowing that you are empowered to have your dream relationship. That's the magic of life. That's the beautiful opportunity that our romantic relationships provide us. And maybe that's your fresh approach, where you actually feel empowered about it for once. And holding these 2 dualities in balance, that could also be your fresh approach of just managing and navigating the ebb and flow in a way that is balanced and discerning, and that is coming from an intuitive knowing. Okay, let's move on to the 6th facet of social life. So this could be your friendships, your community, and of course there could be overlap with, you know, spiritual community, or maybe you have like a fitness community that could overlap with your 2nd facet. Maybe you have friendships or community that you're able to do free time hobbies with. This could also just be your neighborhood, which of course would overlap with the 4th facet. So of course, take, you know, the overlap as it comes to you and as it resonates. So we have empowerment. So I'm getting chills again of just channeling into you making your way through all of your self-work, the way that you work on yourself, you do your shadow work, and then you show up differently in life, and you magnetize more empowered friendships as a result of that. For the tarot cards, we have the 6 of Swords. So yeah, moving on from potentially harsh or troubling relationships that you may have had with your friendships or community. For some of the collective, there have been some friendship breakups over the past few years or so. So you're moving on from that energy. You're moving on from the choppy waters onto the smooth waters. And then the Seven of Swords is also coming out. So this could be some kind of deceit or, not being able to trust someone. But this card, that's kind of the more negative interpretation of this card. The Seven of Swords can also represent just having strategy. And we're also getting the Fool. And I'm also picking up on the connection, and I'm getting chills channeling into this, between the Fool card coming out here for our 6th facet of social life and the Fresh Approach card, which was the oracle card that came out for our 5th facet of love life. And so there may be some connection between your social life and your love life, whether it's literally you getting out there being more social and dating, or whether it's some kind of combination between your friendship circles and your love life, like you're the person you're in a relationship with, maybe like a merging of friendship groups. But with the Fool, and again, I'm getting chills, just this very, the Fool and the Empowerment card together, this is you ready to step into this beautiful new timeline, this higher timeline of surrounding yourself with people that are fully aligned. And it's actually crazy because I'm looking at this Empowerment card, and this is the Nature Whispers Oracle deck, and the art on these cards are just beautiful. And actually on this Empowerment card, there is a ship, like a boat sailing through kind of choppy waters. So that's actually really interesting because that connects exactly with the Six of Swords energy. And then of course, because there's just so much art on the Empowerment card, on the other side of the card, there's like sunshine and rainbows and flowers, there's just waterfalls, like there's so much on the card, but there's like lightning and thunder and kind of a choppy water and storm on one side. And the art kind of gradually leads into more sunshine. And it almost looks like the 4 seasons of nature all embodied on one card, and kind of just like your overall empowerment as you navigate through life. And you're kind of forming this resilience and strength. And that's what kind of feeds more into your empowerment, because you're able to, navigate the ups and downs of life, navigate through the different seasons, and come out the other side with, sunshine and empowerment. So anyway, that's like a side note about just the connection between the Empowerment card and the Six of Swords. But what I was saying before is the Fool card and the Fresh Approach card is so connected, and of course in line with the Empowerment card as well. This is about you diving into a new timeline, a new life where you are surrounded with people that are aligned to you, that feed into your growth. Like people, like exactly how it feels when you're around people who disempower you. But sometimes it's even worse to be around people who have a more neutral effect, because if you're around people who disempower you, it's usually more obvious of, okay, like I don't want to be around this person. But sometimes the trap is that if you have people in your life who are just kind of neutral, like they're not dragging you down, but they're also not lifting you up. And so you're kind of just going through the motions of spending time with them. Of course, take this as it resonates. We all have friends for different things. You don't have to have full, equivalent lifestyles or spiritual journeys as every single person in your life, but take the message as it resonates. But sometimes there are people in our life that we're just kind of going through the motions, but they're not actually empowering us. And so I'm really feeling like with the Fool energy, you're kind of jumping into this new timeline of discernment where you are really focused on being around people who will empower you. And the Seven of Swords also, the strategy that comes with that card can really be helping you here as it relates to you kind of drifting from those who no longer serve you and moving more towards those who do. So, and then like I was saying before, the Fool card here in your social life and the Fresh Approach card in your love life, I'm definitely feeling like you're kind of manifesting this reality where you have friendships that mesh really well with your romantic relationship. Like there's really pure compatibility where there's like a synergistic effect where everyone is empowering each other, like the friend group, the romantic relationships. I'm seeing like double dates, or like even like a group of 3 couples, like 6 friends, things like this, where it's like you're attracting other couples who are your friends, and there's kind of this meshing of friend groups and romantic relationship. And I'm getting chills again. So you are really manifesting a reality like this where you have this community that is compatible with your love life, and you have this love life that is compatible with your community and your friendships. Okay, and then lastly, we have the Queen of Wands, which is just such a beautiful energy for this card as well. Such an empowered, divine feminine energy. She's charismatic. She's got that fire sign energy with the wands. She's a leader. She's really well balanced in all facets of life. So that's beautiful energy coming through. And lastly, the oracle cards we got are 2 came out, and we got gratitude and faith. So yeah, I mean, gratitude is the gateway to abundance, right? So when you are appreciating everything that you have, more of it will come. And so that's what's also going to feed into this beautiful upward spiral of your empowerment. And then with the faith card, this is about, moving from this 6 of Swords energy. You may have still very strong memories of your past challenging relationships or friendships, your sadness from your friendship breakups, things like this, right? And with that's what I'm feeling with the 6 of Swords energy, which I feel is connected to this faith card, where it's reminding you to continue to believe that you are destined for this beautiful friendship group. And of course, as it relates and meshes well with your beautiful love life as well. But this is really just knowing that spirit is beside you. If you need guidance, ask for it. I mean, just pray to your angels and spirit guides. Doing so sets this intention and opens your energy. And when you believe that you are not alone, and when you take the steps to ask for guidance, you will receive it. Okay, let's move on to the last facet. We have career and finances. So the oracle card we have is ideal course of action. So for some of this collective, you may be wanting to change your career path. Or this could be, as it relates to finances, this could be you taking steps to, improve your financial situation or your financial stability. But this is all about kind of reflecting on what are the next steps I need to take here, whether it's career or finances. And for the tarot cards, we have the King of Wands, which is very interesting because we just got the Queen of Wands in our social life spread. So there could be some connection there. We have the Divine Feminine Queen of Wands showing up in our social life, and we have the Divine Masculine King of Wands showing up in our career life. So, I mean, the King of Wands, also that strong leadership energy. He's bold, he's courageous, and I'm just saying he because it's the Divine Feminine. We all have inner Divine Masculine and inner Divine Feminine within us. But, he has this could also be this kind of visionary entrepreneur energy, very inspired, a leader, someone who really takes mastery of their path and of their destiny and knows how to create the ideal career or the financial stability and success through the actions they take of their fiery creative passions. So, and we also have the World card. So for some of this collective, you could be ending a certain path. I mean, this could be ending a cycle of how you spend your money. Maybe you want to be more discerning or disciplined or frugal or something like this. Or it could be like maybe you want to treat yourself more and spend money doing the things you actually enjoy, like experiences rather than spending it on items or something like that. The world could also represent the end of a cycle, like in your current job. Like maybe you're wanting to change companies or change fields or change into entrepreneurship or whatever this may look like for you. But the King of Wands is that energy that is so capable of doing this. So this is very exciting energy for you. Whatever it is that you're thinking that you want to see changed or improved in your career and finances life, it's at your fingertips. I mean, the King of Wands is so capable, and I'm just getting so many chills channeling into the King of Wands energy here. So lastly, our oracle card is Pilgrimage. So this could literally be a call out for you to take a trip and reflect on what it is you want out of life. Visualize what your dream career or dream financial state would look like. But even if it's not a literal pilgrimage or trip, the card says you are on a journey to your own greatness. Your soul is longing to find the way. Only you can choose your path. I'm just picking up on this message of like, you only have one life. Like, what is your purpose? What is going to feed and fulfill you? And when you can capitalize on that ounce, on even just an ounce of passion and inspiration, that's what the King of Wands excels at. You can really start getting clear on the course of action and taking those steps to achieve it. And if you've ever felt kind of like even just a brief moment, really inspired about a certain project or idea, like write it down, take some time to reflect or research on it. Like, don't just allow those thoughts to pass you by, right? Like, you got to reach out and grab it and nurture it and act on it. And it's not to say that every idea you have needs to be pursued to the fullest, but if you imagine all of these ideas like bubbles passing you or like little clouds passing you, some of them are meant to be pursued just for a little. Some of them are meant to be the actual path that you pursue, like the career life path you pursue. So don't let them pass you by, right? Treat each idea like it could be the best and biggest thing that you've ever pursued. That's what the King of Wands would do. He would act on that fiery creative passion, and he would kind of follow that upward spiral into the vision. Like, what would this look like? What would this lead me to? And what steps do I need to take to pursue it? And then if along that journey you realize, okay, no, this isn't actually what I want to pursue, then that's fine too, because you've gotten that much closer to your ideal course of action, right? So really embrace this journey and really take seriously, or, treat with respect and sacredness these little nudges of ideas that you get, because that could be your next huge career path, or that could be the next step that leads you to the financial abundance that you seek. Okay, that brings us to the end of this 7 Facets reading. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Please let me know in the comments what you concluded today from this reading, what breakthroughs you had. And as always, I will see you on the next reading. Bye.